So, what do you think makes something a tale of our time?
Well, I think there are a lot of different things it could be, but I think one of the things that would make it a tale of the time would be that it's relevant to a lot of different situations. Even though it might be something specific, like something as random as how to greet a king in the 13th century, it doesn't seem like it really makes sense or it's relevant for people nowadays, but I think we could find keys like proper decorum, showing respect, different things that could make it relevant. And so I think the key thing really is relevance.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tales of Our Times. This is a show where we discuss the stories that move us, what makes them so meaningful, and why others could or should find meaning in them as well. This is not a spoiler-free show, so bear that in mind as you continue to listen. We tackle movies, books, podcasts, and more. Where there's a story, there's a reason to read. I'm your host, Amanda Stevens, and joining me today is a very special guest who is traveling in Taiwan all the way from the United States, my friend, Ryan Tulon. Welcome back, Ryan.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's been wonderful being back.
Yeah, I guess by welcome back, I mean to Taiwan in general. Sometimes I say that for returning guests, but I mean, this isn't your first time in Taiwan, so why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Ryan Tulon, and I lived in Taiwan about 8 years ago. I taught English for 2 years. And then I went back to live in the United States, where I'm from, and became an acupuncturist. And then some time has passed, and now I'm back for a couple of weeks visiting.
Yeah, checking out all your friends, seeing your old hangs, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Has it changed much since you were here last?
Quite a bit, especially when we went back to Elon, our old town where we used to live. There used to be this local coffee shop, Mr. Brown, by the university. And now it's a McDonald's.
How disappointing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Some things are the same, though. Like the guy that we got our bicycles from, he has an old shop. He's been there for decades. He was still there.
Yeah.
And so we chatted with him, and our old apartment was there. And so a lot of things, it's the same, but also not at the same time.
I always heard it said, like, whenever you travel back home or to a place you lived, it's kind of like all of reality has shifted 1 or 2 inches to the left. Where like most things are really similar or the same, but some things are different and you have to like pick through to find out what they are. So, well, today though, we're talking about a book that you suggested to me. What are we talking about today, Ryan?
Well, today we're talking about The Giver by Lois Lowry.
I'm interested to talk about this because I think for a lot of people who at least went to school in the United States, from middle to high school, this book probably came up. Like, it was definitely on like a lot of reading lists that I saw.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm pretty sure that's how I ended up reading it as well.
It was on the reading lists I had. I started it. I never finished it. I think I got, and when I say I started it, I think I got like 2 chapters in and I was like, no. And I don't know why. I still don't even know why I didn't just finish it. I was kind of precocious, I suppose.
Well, you're going to have to finish it after this.
I'm excited. Okay. I'm excited. So, The Giver, I think it's won a bunch of awards, but today we're going to go through the summary. And what makes it so meaningful. So, is there any other information you think we should know about it before we get started?
Well, to give a basic background, it's a dystopian novel. For young adults, as you said, it's middle school and high school age students that typically read it.
I mean, I think that's all we need to know. So, Ryan, can you give us a summary of The Giver?
Yes. So The Giver takes place in a community. It's very controlled. Everything from the weather to what job you're going to do when you get older to even what you're eating and when. It's all controlled. And the way that it's set up, we feel like the people in the community are pretty comfortable with the way of life. This is all they've known. They just know, okay, I'm going to wake up and feel pretty comfortable today. It's nothing crazy is going to happen. I'm not going to have any huge heartbreak. I'm not going to, get hurt or even have a particularly joyous encounter. It's all just pretty muted overall. And so that's the background of the story. But when it starts, we meet the main character, Jonas. and he's just turning 12, and they've got a big ceremony when you turn 12. You find out what job you're going to do in the community.
Okay. Yeah. You take your quiz, and they match you up. So
Yeah, and basically they've been meaning the elders in the community, have been watching you since you were born, and so they see. Yeah, you get the idea. Right?
Yeah.
And they kind of know your strengths, your weaknesses, and interests, and we're given to understand people are pretty happy with how their jobs turn out. And so when it comes to Jonas's time to get his role assigned, his is pretty different, and he receives a job called the receiver. And this means that there's a giver, and what the giving is the memories of the world before everything was controlled.
Oh.
And so the only person in the community who knows about like getting sunburns and having your heart broken and riding a sled down a hill is the giver. And the giver's role in the community is to act as an advisor. So if the community's thinking about trying something new or adding this or taking that away, the giver can say, well, actually, there's this memory, and I remember that this didn't go so well. So actually, why don't we do this other thing instead?
Okay, quick question. So you said everything is really well controlled. Does it also include like your physical, emotional responses?
Yes, because...
So even that is controlled as well. Oh, okay.
I'm not sure how much to give away, and this isn't like...
Everything is up for grabs. They gave the spoiler warning, so you can say whatever you want.
Because this part's kind of interesting is every family, if you want to have children, you can have a boy and a girl, and you're just assigned a boy. Like somebody's job is to be a birthing mother, and so then when you say, okay, I think I'm ready for a child, then they match you up with a partner, and then they say, okay, here's your baby boy or your baby girl.
Oh, wow.
And
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, literally everything is designed from your emotional responses to like when you're allowed. Well, I guess you can choose when you want to have children, but like who is going to be your co-parent and what your child's going to be, and you get that.
Yes, and you have a family, but it's not the emotional, loving type. Because there's a moment when Jonas asks his parents, I might be getting ahead of myself, but he asks his parents basically, do you love me? And they chide him. They say, you need to be precise with your language. Like, love is this antiquated thing. And then they reword it like, if you're asking if I care about you or if I'm proud of your achievements, the answer is yes. And so they kind of dance around it because they really don't have the concept of a real love.
Okay, so Jonas gets this job to be the receiver for all of the emotions. Where does it go from there?
Right, getting back on track. So Jonas, over the next couple of months, he receives more and more memories, and again, some are good, some are bad, but his eyes are opened to suddenly he realizes there's so much more to life than he ever knew. But the awkward part for him is he's going about his normal life, with the same people who haven't changed. They don't know anything different still, and meanwhile, he's the one changing. And so it culminates over the next few months where he just feels like he wants to make a change. This isn't quite right, but doesn't know how. And then there's a mysterious event where it's kind of the jumping board for him to decide, okay, it's now or never. Am I going to make a change or not?
This is, if the book sounds good, fast forward for 30 seconds. So.
Okay, so Jonas has a little sister, but then his dad is a caretaker, and one of the babies hasn't been doing well, so they bring this baby boy, Gabriel, into their home. So they have 3 kids temporarily because they're trying to help Gabriel mature faster in a family environment. And basically, Gabriel is just not doing well. He's not up to the standards, and he's going to be released, which Jonas learns over the course of his studies as the receiver that means he's going to get a little injection and then cease to exist.
Lights out.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And
wow, so it's super controlled.
Yes. Okay. And so Jonas hears that Gabriel's going to be released, and he's got to make some changes before that happens.
Is that how does the book end? Does he save him?
Amanda.
I want to know. This is what it is.
Basically, yes. He's able to leave the town, the village, and it's not quite clear exactly how the magic works and all this stuff.
Oh, there is like magic.
Yes, there's another force. We don't know what it is, but yeah, he leaves the town, the community with Gabriel, and the idea is when he leaves, since he contains a lot of the memories by this point for some reason, when you leave the community, the memories are returned to the community.
Hmm.
And so then the everyday people, the other villagers, then they start to know about the sunburns and the war and all these things.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I feel pretty good about our previous, like our introduction conversation. We're like, yeah, reality is just a little bit different, because that feels like a good, like, quick idea of what this book is about.
Yeah, we all have our own realities, and sometimes you just wake up and you see things differently, whether it's you go back to a place you used to know and it's different, or you're still living at home and nothing really changes, but something's happened and you're suddenly seeing the world in a different way, and it makes you feel a certain way. And it's that's one of the things I love about The Giver.
Ooh, well, let's get into that. I can say I wish that I had finished the book now. It sounds like it was really good. But first, I want to say, like, what was your first encounter with this story? Like, how did you find out about it?
I was in school. I can't remember exactly what grade, but anywhere from 6th to 10th grade probably. And I remember my older brother, had read it before, and he was going on and on about this book. And, like...
Really? That's fun.
I love to read, but I read the back of the book, and I was like, this seems fine, but,
It doesn't sound as interesting as it is. I feel like this is... Because if you didn't go to school in the United States, the way that, like, the reading classes work, or not even reading, but just kind of like a lot of, like, middle or high school education classes work, are that you have these reading lists of books that teachers can make their own, but a lot of times they'll choose from, like, recommended books. Usually they're books that have won awards, like The Giver. It's a pretty well-known book. So a lot of those same public schools read many of similar books to kind of, like, introduce you to different ideas, different genres, different other things. And The Giver is on, I think, probably almost all of these lists. I think it's banned in one or two, like, cities. I don't know why. There's always a reason to ban a book. So
Of course.
yeah. I don't agree with them. I do
No.
this show. I don't agree with them, but here we are. So you found it basically through the public education system.
Yeah, that's accurate.
So then what made this book so meaningful to you personally?
Well, at that age in my life, we're figuring things out when we're 12 years old. And from that point, my life had been pretty straightforward, nothing too earth-shattering. And then when I read this book and I saw this huge choice that Jonas had, and I really felt like it was astounding. It blew my mind that somebody could have a perspective change that big.
That drastic.
I also thought, too, when he starts to have that feeling of discomfort in himself, of this isn't the way we should live, it's too empty, he sits with that discomfort for a while until it finally culminates and he just feels like he can't not do anything about it anymore. And so I think that level of bravery and courage that he had really spoke to me.
So I have a question, because, and this is mostly about, like, the way that it's written. I feel like sometimes when I read, I'm going to call this like a young adult novel because I think that kind of fits the genre. But a lot of times when I read these, I'm sometimes, like, frustrated by, like, a character's indecision to act on something. And that's something authors do to, like, build tension, is they'll be like, oh, it's wrong, but I just don't know what to do. And they're, like, sitting there watching, I don't know, them burn a house down or something. That's, like, obviously insane. But the way that you described it, it makes it feel like the way that Jonas kind of came to his decision was more measured, or more like waiting until he had a good idea to act, rather than like, I know that I should stop them from burning that house, but I just can't bring myself to do it. Like, does that make sense? Is that the way that comes across in the novel, I guess, that he
Exactly.
like, is waiting?
Because during the novel, he tries little things like they don't have colors. It's black and white. So it's like really muted in every way.
A physical representation of their like muted life.
Yeah, and Jonas can start to see colors, and that's why he was chosen as the receiver, because the elders recognize that he has the sight. And so he would kind of go with his friends and say, hey, look at that tree right there. Like, no, look really, really hard. Like, what do you see? And they're like, a tree, dude. I don't know.
Leaves, stems, I don't know.
And then when he asked his parents if they loved him, like, he tests the people around him to see if, well, maybe we can, like, I can teach them some things, and that'll be enough. And they're just not. And then he's still figuring things out, but then he doesn't really have a reason exactly to have to push it anymore, except that feeling of being uncomfortable. But then again, when his little brother is gonna die, then obviously he has to make the choice.
Okay. I like that, though, because I like having Like that's I think what is sometimes frustrating about that like trope is just that like well, when it's obviously bad and like there's a clear reason why it's bad. And I think this is not a subversion, but this is a fun like alternate route to take where, as you described, like people at least seem to be content, whether or not they're content by choice. We could argue that, but like people, until he learns this, like he doesn't have any proof that people are being actively hurt. Right? It's like, yeah, well, everyone seems to be like all right with what they're doing. People like their jobs. Everything seems to be going smoothly. So I like that kind of take on a dystopia.
And I think the courage that it takes to ruffle those feathers when everything seems like it's fine. Because, you know, when we look at our own lives thinking, well, should I move to Taiwan? Should I marry this person, take this job? Any big decision, we think, well, but it's easier to just keep staying at this old job or to not do this. And I think that final push, I think that The Giver really shows that, no, it's okay to, when it's the right time and the right thing, it's okay to ruffle the feathers and move
to make
the
that
water.
leap. Well, that gets me to my almost last question, which is, what do you think makes this a tale of our time? Or what meaning do you think other people could find in this book? Or is that kind of it?
That was one thing for sure. There were two things I was thinking of. It's okay to make a change, you know, assuming you think it through and it seems like it's a good change.
Yeah.
Just Jonas's courage to do that, like kind of giving us permission to do that in our own lives.
Giving us permission as the giver. Sorry, go on.
And then the second thing that I really took away from it was that feeling within Jonas's heart that things aren't quite right. It's not sitting well with him. And he talks to the giver about it, saying, well, haven't you tried to tell the people about this? And haven't you tried, you know, can't we do this or that? There's got to be something.
Yeah, because the old person is there giving him all of these memories.
And the giver said, well, I tried this, but it didn't work. And now this is just how it is, kind of. And Jonas, he receives that kind of answer. And then again with his friends and parents, like they're not giving him any
feedback. There's no change. There's no flexibility, I think is a good word.
And so that feeling in him, I like that he has this like kind of whisper in his heart. Maybe it's more of a shout at this point in the book.
Yeah.
But he has it and he follows it. So like in our lives too, we might have this little inkling of, oh, you know, I kind of want to study this, or I really want to get to know that person. They could be a great friend. But then we think, oh, but how do I approach them? Or this, you know, I don't know how to do this program. Maybe I don't have the prerequisites. There's always an excuse. And so I like that Jonas had that little voice in his head and his heart, and then he did choose to act on it.
Yeah. I see why it's on so many reading lists. Like, I don't know if it does feel like an action book, but at least describing it, it does sound kind of like soft courage, where compared to other young adult novels from when I was a kid, like you don't need to be a Katniss Everdeen, like take down the government or anything else like that. Like you could also just be courageous to like ask your friends and family to change. You can be courageous to like listen to what you feel is right, whether that's right for you or right for the world, and kind of, like you said, ruffle those feathers. It's a really good message. So I really wish I'd read this book.
I love it so much. Every time I travel, I have it in Chinese and Spanish now, and I'm just like collecting all these givers.
Wow, that's so cool. So unfortunately, we are almost out of time. But before we wrap up, I want to ask you one last question, which is, if you could give The Giver a subtitle of your very own, what would that be?
Okay, it's a little cheesy. I'm sure they all are.
It's all about how you think about it, you know?
Okay, so it's very smart and cunning.
Yeah, there you go.
I would say The Giver, The Whisper Within.
Oh, I love it. It makes a lot of sense. I hope it will entice people to listen to the episode or read the book in the way that I needed to be pushed as a child. And I wasn't. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really enjoyed talking to you about this book.
Yeah, thank you. And I love talking about this book and talking with you in this studio.
Yeah. And thank you to all of you listeners out there. This has been Tales of Our Time. Oops. This has been Tales of Our Time on Radio Taiwan International. I was your host, Amanda Stevens, with my guest, Ryan Tulon, all the way from the United States. Thanks again, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you.
And I hope that you enjoyed learning about The Giver, The Whisper Within, a tale of our time. We'll see you next time.